presentation. The programme tells us that, that Leigh works at the Royal Botanic Gardens Edinburgh, but what it doesn't tell us is he's also president of the UK's Institute of Horticulture, which is no small job.
No, I think we're okay with that. You can hear me, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, hello. Thank you, Nigel. I have a long title. There's a brackets learning at the end of it, but my role at the Royal Botanic Garden Edinburgh is now to oversee all our learning programmes. That's formal education, interpretation, exhibitions and events. Today I'm going to tell you a little bit about what we're doing, what we're aiming and what we're aspiring to do more of with virtual learning. So a little bit of history to give you a context. So the Royal Botanic Garden Edinburgh has done horticultural and botanical training for more than 100 years. I actually went there as their head of School of Horticulture in 2004. That's an older picture of me, it wasn't taken last week. That's about 2004, I wish it was last week. But we do lots. Now, over my time there, I'd stepped into botanic gardens from mainstream nursery production and then horticultural colleges. But what inspires me, frankly, most about my work is capacity building. It's helping countries that need our help, and at Edinburgh I'm blessed to work in a place that we can go and do some of that. And one of the things that we've set up quite quickly was a certificate in practical horticulture. I know I can see at least 2 directors of gardens in the audience where their gardens are up on the wall there, where we've actually gone and done work and we've set up practical certificates that are now delivered all over the UK and in various countries successfully, and we feel they work, and we've evolved them over time. And then we thought, right, well, how can we do that better? We want to sustain this. It's very nice going off to Laos and working with Rick there for 2 weeks and teaching some of his staff and helping them learn how to do horticulture, but what's the real model of sustainability? Well, it's actually not me getting on a plane to Laos every whatever, although it's very nice. We want to train people how to train. So the next stage in our evolution of capacity building was setting up a Train the Trainers programme. And we've run that successfully and in a few places. Actually, the first one was in northern Thailand, but that came about sitting on a log in Rick's garden talking to the director of Queen Sirikit Garden, who said that's just what we need there, and they funded that and we had lots of people went there. So that worked, and now we partner with the Royal Horticultural Society in England, and they're now using our programme, and I'm actually going down to Wisley to help co-teach a group of the horticulturists in the RHS. So that was good, and the evolution of capacity building goes on. So technology. No, not quite. So this is just to sort of sum up what capacity building we do. We do bespoke training in country, and we've done this for years. Horticulturist, botanists, get on a plane, go to Bhutan, work with people, help train them, build capacity, fantastic. We do bespoke training at RBGE. People from Nepal get on an aeroplane, come to us, we give them an internship working in the herbarium or maybe in the rock garden. They learn lots, they go back, their capacity's raised. Then more formally, I've already mentioned our certificate programmes, and we run those in a variety of areas, and the Train the programme, and then of course, I guess you would say ultimately, we have staff from gardens will come and do our full-time programmes, maybe do our BSc Honours programme in horticulture with plantsmanship, or our Masters in Biodiversity and Taxonomy. So students do that. Now we get to the topic, technology. Now, when you Google technology geek, I'm just giving a baseline now, that is the sort of image that comes up. And I lifted them off the first page of Google, try it. So my point from this is that a technology geek has a general seems of a light shirt demeanour and a bow tie. My point from putting that up is, it's not me, okay? So if you came here to hear a talk today by an IT person that's going to tell you all the whiz-bangs about how to use IT for virtual learning, I'm not that person. I'm a horticultural tree grower that ended up in education that wants to try and share my knowledge, but feels that technology can help me. So my own use of technology, actually, before I go on, people have got phones in their pockets. Can I ask you to switch them on? There's another one. Put them on silent. If you want to send a tweet out or post on Facebook and try and share a bit of this knowledge while I'm talking, please do that. Someone at APGA said that to me once. It was like a hammer blow. I thought, how can I not embrace this technology? So I've embraced it over the last 2 or 3 years, and I've got an iPad, and tweet a bit, and we do other bits. And I've come to believe that actually technology is a tool that we should use. And when I look at other vocations, outside botany and horticulture, frankly, they do it better than we do. They do it a lot better than we do. Frankly, lots and lots better. So we can do it, we can learn. So BGCI Congress, how many of you have got a Twitter account? Let's have some audience participation. Don't be shy, it's not an embarrassing thing. You should be more embarrassed if you don't now. Okay? If you're in a session about capacity building and sharing knowledge, and you work in education, and you do not have a Twitter account, shame on you. So hands up if you've got one. Well, if you have, please, while you're here, can you send a tweet and put hashtag BGCI 2013 in it? Start to stimulate that conversation. I hope that I'm a tiny little element of why the plenaries are being filmed, because I lobbied hard. Because I don't see people in here from Southern African gardens. When I went to Durban, I did. I don't see many people in here from Central American gardens. When I went to Mexico last year, I did. So my take-home message from this is, I want people to see this. I'm videoing this now. I'll put this on YouTube and I'll tweet the link, because I want people to be able to watch it. I want Rick to be able to go back to Lau and say, look, you could watch Leigh's presentation, all his staff will laugh and say, oh, it's Leigh. Facebook pages, use those. Here is actually, this was quite cool, this was in Mexico, and here, one of the main speakers in Mexico was Skyped into the BGCI Congress in Mexico. And this was actually a plenary session I videoed in Mexico, that if you want to go and find it, it's a fantastic talk. Do write it down and go and watch it. Angela McFarland, who was then Director of Learning at Kew, was telling everyone about how they use QR codes and interpretation. So it's there, sitting on YouTube, watch it. Virtual learning. How many of you have been e-learning students? Hands up, don't be shy. Anyone ever done a course online? Okay, how many of you run courses online? How many of you would like to run courses online? Why are you here? Okay, how many of you run courses but don't want to run them online? Okay, why? Virtual learning can be done very badly. It's a website, you put stuff on it. Universities and colleges, they can use them as a dumping ground. You put notes on, you put PowerPoints on, you put them in a list, you say to the student, it's all there online, virtual learning. It's awful. And it becomes this like, oh God. So I'm not going to tell you much about virtual learning, other than to say there's many established virtual learning environments, and there's some of them. Blackboard, Moodle, Learn Upon, etc. That's one of the most popular virtual learning environments in the UK. It's very good. They do lots of online learning. My garden school, I've got no shame giving them a plug. You might say they're a competitor of ours in Edinburgh, but I think, hey. But they do fantastic courses. This is ours, so we've dipped our toe in the water now. We've set up a virtual learning environment and we've called it Propagate Learning. The reason we've called it Propagate Learning will become clearer. We've not called it the Royal Botanic Garden Edinburgh Virtual Learning Environment. And that's because the vision of this is, and it's good to have a vision, there's no shame in this, the vision of this is it becomes the, capital letters, online learning environment for horticulture, plant sciences, botany. And we want to partner people. It would be delightful if we had lots of logos down either side of different botanic gardens and universities, etc., that were working with us in this. So we've set one up. I quickly learned that content is key, and to give you one example of that, when we were going through the process about deciding which virtual learning environment we're going to use, we had various tenders, and some of my colleagues were lobbying hard that we should spend £75,000 on setting up a bespoke virtual learning environment. This company can come and they can create this fantastic thing. We went for the cheapest. Why did we go for the cheapest? Because I'm from Yorkshire? No, we went for the cheapest because it's the most widely used. It's cheap because it's got mass market saturation. I'm not going to say what it is because I don't want people knowing what software it is, because I want it to be called Propagate Learning. We want that to be used. But let's just say it's the biggest one used. Work it out. Because it's that, there's loads of support. If the support company goes, there's loads of other people can help. But the penny drop for me, it's not the virtual learning environment, it's what you put on it. Because quite frankly, we're not at the front end of this technology. People have been using this for 20 odd years in other vocations. we can just pinch that knowledge, get the virtual learning environment that works, and invest the time on creating content. And that's what we've done in Edinburgh. We've done everything from setting up photographs. This is a photo studio we set up in the potting shed. Here's one of my colleagues being filmed. We set up a film studio here for botanical illustration. So we're creating good content, because that's what makes the difference between students just being asked to look down a list of PowerPoints and notes. So we've done that. But this is the real exciting bit for me. Place. The place is important. If you're a student, it's very nice being able to look at your laptop or go on your iPad and access something remotely. But the really exciting thing for me is this, which is blended learning or hybrid learning. So in other words, students go to a place, or you go to the place where the students are, and there's a bit of contact. So they meet their peers, they meet the tutors, they get to do a bit of bonding, they get to actually look at a bit of plants, and then they use the virtual learning environment to support that. And there's two models we're looking at. One is learners travel to us. Now, if they can afford to do that, you know, lots of people can come around the world and congregate in one place, and you give them a short input of programme, fantastic. What may be more affordable is that one of our staff, and we've been doing this for donkey's years, we go off to places. Imagine that vision now. Same horticulturist, goes off to Nepal, delivers a programme, and then at the end of the course, he doesn't say goodbye everyone. He says, goodbye everyone, here's your logins, and I'll post a video on here every week you can keep up to date. There's a little chat room on there for you, and there's lots of other resources that you can network into. You can access our herbarium, and here's our Facebook page. Now, we should be able to do that, some of our gardens, for these countries, and it's really easy. Joachim said, I'm videoing this. Joachim said, "But you've embraced technology." I said, I haven't. It's really easy. It's like 50 quid for a camera. And it's about 2 minutes to load it onto YouTube. And then all those African gardens that were in Durban have got the option of watching me rant on about this. Well, they might watch it. So some examples of how we've used this. Not probably. So the first one I'll start with is botanical illustration. Money is not a dirty word in botanic gardens. So we have to make this sustainable. One of my jobs in Edinburgh is to make this sustainable, and we have to show to trustees and everyone else that there's a pound benefit as well as the educational benefits. That's just the world is. I had a very inspiring conversation with a lady in the corridor at Edinburgh Botanic Garden, and it went something like this. I came through a double door and a lady appeared and she went, "Leigh." And I went, "I don't know who you are." "Who are you?" She said, "Leigh, it's Nicola." I won't do the accent. She says, "Nicola from Toronto." She said, "I've been emailing you for years about wanting to be a botanical illustration student, and you kept saying that you were working on a course where you could do block weeks, and this is it. We've started as a first 2-week block." And we had a student from Canada, we had from Saudi Arabia, we had from Finland, So the point from this was that we ran diplomas, and we created these over the last 8 years in various things, where typically 2 years and people will come to Edinburgh for 1 day a week. There's a limit to how far someone will travel for 1 day a week. But my vision for this, our vision for this, is there's no limit to how far someone will travel for 2 weeks a year to come and do a block course to then go back to their own country and work remotely. And they get the benefit of the place. They get to go to Edinburgh, the city, the garden, they meet people, it's a no-brainer. And so we have the same model, garden history. We set a diploma up in that, 7, 8, 9 students. First time we've advertised it on blended learning, within 2 weeks we've got 40 applicants. Or 40 definite inquiries. We've now turned that into almost 20 applicants that will come to Edinburgh for block weeks, work on garden history, go and work remotely. So beyond that, CPH, which I guess is our flagship capacity project, the one that we've delivered in many countries, and bluntly an idea that I stole from scuba diving. So if anyone from Paddy wants to sue me, they probably could, because go on, more audience participation. Hands up if you've got anyone in here ever done a scuba diving course. Okay, so we've got a few. That's good, you'll understand the planet I'm on. If you haven't, I'm sorry, bear with me, but frankly, that is where you learn to do something practical in a fun way with nice people in a nice place. And they have complete quality management systems, and virtual learning now has been their latest one. So you used to get a book and there was videos, and it was very nice knowledge reviews. Why isn't there that for horticulture and plant science? Well, there is now, and we're getting it better. So we are now doing what they're doing, and we're testing it with some of our own students. So the concept of that is that there's typically a 20-minute PowerPoint at the start, just for some visuals and a little bit of underpinning knowledge, where we now put that online turn the PowerPoints into videos so that the students can watch it in their own home, do a little knowledge review. It's not an exam, it's just making sure they've watched the PowerPoint as a gapped handout, and then the tutor knows that they've actually done it on the morning because they can see it online. They go straight into the dirty hands fun stuff, so it works. If I was slicker, I'd have put a picture up now of a tweet by CMEP of Iraqi students, and the tweet says, here's some Iraqi e-learning students doing a bit of blended learning. So it's there, if you've got Twitter, you'll find it. But CMEP is our Middle Eastern Plants Centre based at Edinburgh Botanic Garden, and there's a Darwin project now, and the e-learning elements within that are core to that project, and they're doing blended learning. So, remote learning is not just a VLE. Many people fail, I think, because they just set up a VLE, they dump stuff on it, and they tell the students, there you go, off you go and learn. The students go, don't do that. Use all the other stuff. I just learned about webinars recently. I couldn't give a lecture on it, so I'll shut up. But we do Skype regularly, Facebook pages are part of the package, tweeting I've mentioned, conference calls, and of course emails. These are all ways that you can engage with people who are not at your place after they've been or before they come. So there's lots of that. Joachim's going to tell you about the Darwin Technical Manual project, so I will not steal his thunder. But what I would say is that we're delighted to be potentially working with that, and that sort of document turned into something a bit more electronic, we're totally behind. Collaborations is a theme of the conference. As I said, we've called our virtual learning environment Propagate Learning because we genuinely want to collaborate with lots of people. We don't want to call it the Botanic Garden Edinburgh. We want to be this community of people creating content. I mean, why do we want 10 videos on how to do a softwood cutting? We don't, we just want one partner to do that, and we'll do some other things. And I guess one of the next ones, and Sharon is in the audience, that we're looking to collaborate on is our next certificate, which could be in the establishment of botanic gardens, and that's some of the topics that myself and Sharon have been working on, and we hope that that will be something that will sit alongside the virtual learning environment. That is my last slide, Nigel. And that is a mock-up I've done of a web page. But imagine that becomes our home page for Propagate Learning. So, still Propagate Learning. I could have put a load of logos down the side, and we've got all the links there. But here you can enrol for a blended learning programme in Laos or Oman or Turkey, or in the UK at the RHS, or even at Denver. And maybe we put Singapore on there as well. So, and there's the Darwin Technical Manual. It's available online, or as various blended learning programmes, because that is ways that we can really help this. So, my take-home messages for this: it's not the only thing, it's part of a solution, it's just a tool, okay? I'm a plant person, I grow trees and propagate things, I want to share my knowledge. Technology is a tool that we need to use better than we currently use it, because other people do, and it's easy and it's really cheap. It can aid learning, it can widen participation. The content is key, you need good content. If you can access the place as well, be it your own gardens or getting people to go to other gardens, students learn better. They want to go and learn in a nice place with nice people, even as online students. And partnerships, no cliche for finishing on partnerships are all key. That's my Twitter address, and that's my email address, and I welcome you to go and also have a look at Propagate Learning. And please, it's very nice to talk on the first day, because that means you've all got about 4 or 5 days to come and tap me on the shoulder at coffee or something and have a chat. Thank you.
Thank you, Leigh. Any queries of clarification? You'll have a chance to ask him afterwards. Yes?